Kizamde, hop on the beat!
Over most of Araki's 40-year-long career, he's been working on JoJo. But some fans may be aware that he worked on some other manga before that. I think most people would think of Bao, which immediately preceded JoJo and most resembles it. However, when I think of old Araki manga, the first one that comes to mind is actually Cool Shock BT. This was Araki's first ever serialized manga, and I think it's the most unique of his old work. It follows a boy named Koichi who meets a mysterious boy named BT. And they go on all sorts of adventures that usually involve BT using his cunning and magic tricks to solve a problem. BT himself was notably the blueprint for the character Dio Brando, who would later be introduced in part 1 of JoJo. They're similar in a lot of ways, and since Dio is one of my favorite characters, I really appreciate BT as the foundation of that. The original story ran for 10 issues in 1983 and didn't get anything else for many years. In October of 2021, a spin-off was released titled Cool Shock Old BT, a sequel set 60 years after the original with both the main characters as old men. It was written by Nisio Isin and illustrated by Posuke Tamizu. It's pretty notable for containing an astronomical number of references to Araki's works and in particular JoJo throughout. A second chapter was released in December of 2023, set even farther in the future. I think old BT did a good job of representing what the original BT was about, and I think it actually gives a really heartwarming ending to the series. In February of 2024, it was announced that Cool Shock BT would be receiving a reboot, written and illustrated by entirely new people and being published in Saikyo Jump. Back when I first heard this, I wasn't sure if Reboot just meant a return of the series with more chapters, or if this was truly a new continuity. It released on March 4th, and now we know that this is a full reboot, and it depicts the first meeting of Koichi and BT set in the modern era. So here I just want to go over the reboot in its entirety, seeing if it lives up to the series and how many references I can find in it. The chapter opens with some online posts talking about a mysterious boy who is apparently a genius, and saying that he might live right next to you. Already we have our first reference with the Google search engine here being spelled JoJo, referencing JoJo and more specifically, Giorno Giovanna. In case you're wondering why they're searching Wicked Boy here, this is actually based on the Japanese title for the series. It's called Ma Shonen BT, which literally translates to Devil Boy BT. For our chapter cover, we get a look at the new art style. I actually really like it. It's a super refined, cartoony style that I think matches how a manga like BT would look in a modern day. We're introduced to Koichi and his family moving into a new home. On his shirt, we can see the word Echoes, of course referencing the stand echoes of Part 4's Koichi, who was originally based on him. On the way to school, Koichi is confronted by two guys who try to scam him by saying they broke one of their phones when they bumped into them. BT shows up, who Koichi recognizes as a transfer student to his class. He says that he happened to be recording a video showing the man deliberately bumping into Koichi and threatens to send it to the police. He agrees not to send it if they never see them again. As the scammers run away, we can see another Easter egg with the name Joestar written on the back of BT's shoe. Koichi thanks him for helping and is surprised that he was recording that whole time. BT reveals that he actually only started filming after the fact. He just took the existing photo and doctored it using AI to make it appear that he was filming earlier. Since they were actually guilty, the two scammers didn't suspect anything and believed it. We get an introduction to BT with Koichi saying that he can't tell you what his full name is. This is something straight from the original manga, and we don't really know what his full name is. However, according to Araki, the reason he originally chose the letters BT is actually as a homage to Buichi Terasawa, creator of the manga Cobra. Terasawa was a very influential figure in Araki's early career, and he actually read the manuscript for Araki's debut one-shot Poker Under Arms when it was submitted to the Tezuka Awards. He encouraged him to keep drawing, so the initials BT have a lot of significance to Araki's work as a whole. The story continues with Koichi and BT becoming closer friends. We're told an incident occurred at Koichi's home and we're shown his bedroom. There's actually a bunch of references here. First of all, his blanket has the word act written on it, referencing JoJo's Koichi, and his stand Echoes, which has multiple acts. A poster in the background has the Echo's egg, and the rug on the ground is actually an image of Echoes' stand stats. Other references include toys of Aerosmith and Sheer Heart Attack, and what appears to be a doll of Shigechi from Part 4. Koichi is woken up and his family escapes as their house burns down. The next day it said that this is apparently the 6th house this month to burn down in a string of arson incidents. Koichi's about to be hit by a falling beam, but is saved by BT. Koichi tells him that he lost everything except for his smartphone, which is also burned. On the back of his phone is an image of a hand and the words Lucky Land. This is referencing Lucky Land Communications, Araki's personal company. The logo and name of the company can be spotted all over the JoJo series as well. BT takes Koichi's phone and offers to repair it and restore the data. He decides to go after the arsonist himself and is shown rubbing his ear. This was a quirk of BT from the original series where he would rub his ear whenever he was planning. Back home, we see BT researching videos of the arson attacks on social media. Koichi is woken up by a call from the police saying the arsonist has been caught. He sent a live stream of the outside of an under-construction amusement park. On the wall it says SPW, referencing the Speedwagon Foundation, and JPP Land, JPP standing for Jean-Pierre Polnareff and referencing his fantasy from Part 3 of making a theme park called Polnareff Land. The video turns out to be from the arsonist who is taunting Koichi by showing his next target. The arsonist is shown to get sick pleasure out of sending the video to his previous victims. The face he makes here is referencing the face that Akira Otoshi makes in Part 4 after playing guitar. Someone puts out the fire who turns out to be BT, who found him after hacking through police records and camera footage. He found the arsonist breaking into the construction site and figured out that it's him. He also hacked the live stream so his face and voice are both disguised. The man attacks BT and grabs his shirt but finds it booby-trapped with razor blades. This may be referencing the scene in Part 8 when Josuke was trapped in the bathroom where everything was booby-trapped with objects that would wound his hands and feet. BT runs away and gets the arsonist to chase after him, making him fall into a pit. Inside the pit is a venomous snake that bites him and will be fatal within 30 minutes. The man offers to pay BT if he calls an ambulance, but he refuses. He says he'll help him if he says why he started the fires, which turns out to be because he wanted to go viral after seeing all the people watching the video of the fires. BT throws the arsonist his jacket, which he had taken off, and on the back is an image of a bird and an ankh with the words Magicians Are, referencing the fire-based stand Magicians Red from Part 3. The man takes out a special Molotov cocktail from his pocket and tries to kill BT, but finds the bottle was cracked and leaking. BT actually put Koichi's old phone in the jacket pocket, which ignites due to being damaged, lighting the arsonist on fire. Koichi passes out and wakes up the next day, not sure if what he saw was real. He learns that the arsonist was arrested the next morning and that the insurance will cover the house being rebuilt. BT tells Koichi that his phone is beyond repair and he transferred the data to a new phone. The chapter ends with Koichi saying he went on more adventures with BT in the future. On the final page, we can see Giorno's ladybug brooch on a lamp and Josuke's peace sign on a manhole cover. Finally, we see the to be continued sign straight from JoJo. Overall, I really enjoyed this chapter. I think it pretty much perfectly captured what a BT story would be like with access to modern technology, and it felt similar to something Araki himself would write in a modern story. The characters of BT and Koichi were represented well, and we got to see some of the ruthlessness of BT and his devotion to Koichi, which is an important part of him. I also enjoyed the references throughout, and I think they did a good job of staying in the background. While I love the references in old BT, some people thought there was far too many of them and that they stole the show. Hopefully with this chapter, those problems are alleviated with the references remaining part of the background. It's been a month since release, and the reboot has yet to get another chapter. We can't be sure if it will yet, but I definitely hope it does, since I think it'll be really fun to have more BT adventures again. If there's a topic you want to see me cover in a future video, comment it down below. To keep up with whatever I make next, make sure to subscribe and click the bell. You can also join the Hum and Beat Discord to be updated on new videos and any important JoJo news. Finally, I'd appreciate if you help support the channel on Patreon. Patrons receive Discord perks, and they can submit patron questions. This video's question comes from Nexel. They ask if there's any JoJo spin-offs not written by Araki that I consider canon or worthy of being canon. Well, I actually have a video on this topic going over what should be considered canon in JoJo, although I should actually remake that video now since a ton of new stuff has been added to the series. Now, I guess I should say there's a difference between what I think is canon for the purpose of analyzing the series and something that I accept as a good part of the series. Since I make videos analyzing aspects of JoJo and answering a lot of fans' questions, I think it's important to stick to the material made by Araki himself, since clearly nobody but him knows what is 100% true to the story. You can't really answer someone's question about Araki's JoJo manga with an answer from a book written by someone else, since clearly Araki didn't actually think of that. And we know that Araki is very hands-off with spin-offs and lets people do what they want, so any new information added there can't exactly be attributed to his work. Now for what spin-offs I like, from the ones I've read I like them all. Purple Haze Feedback is really cool and I think does a lot of interesting things. Same with Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak, which I think gives a great arc to Whole Horse's character. And from what I've read, I really enjoy how LLF portrays the later life of Lisa Lisa. Really, it's pretty much all good, so I recommend reading them. If you want to submit a question, you can join the Patreon at any tier and leave them in the community chat or in DMs. I try to answer one question per video, so please leave as many as you want so I don't run out. They don't have to be related to JoJo either. Thank you for watching. This is the part of the video where I thank my $5 and up patrons. Thank you to Sloth Dog, Doorbell, Crayon, Rigovids, Zucato, Pumpkin Doge, Marrow, Almighty Korth, Gatling Grove, Lime Jinjo, Sponge Cake, Cakext, Feliciano Rabaja, Rayana Meme, Christian McDonough, Emmanuel Etienne, Pulse Dog, Great Riek, Carmo Trina, Zach Greenfield, FIFO, Rob Goliath, Jacob Smith, Big T, C Manga, Minty, Gold, Red Hot Mayonnaise, Jolene, Monticelli, Zenkai, and Manums.